Your resume is the first impression that you make on a potential employer, and you only have a few seconds to really wow them so that you can get called in for an interview. But what if I told you that there are mistakes that you might be making on your resume that are hurting your chances of getting called in? In this video, I'm going to lay out the top resume mistakes that you need to avoid in order to get called in for an interview to ultimately land your dream job and reach that next level in your career. Are you ready? Let's get started. My name is Cindy Makita Dodd, career strategist and coach. Not only do I help hundreds of job seekers every year revamp their resumes, I've also reviewed hundreds of resumes in my life. And so I know the key things that come up on resumes very often that you absolutely need to avoid to boost your chances of getting called in for an interview. Let's take a look. The first resume mistake is including an objective statement. An objective statement is a short paragraph that sits right at the top of your resume, and it lets the employer know a little bit more about you, and even more than that, what your employment goals are and what type of opportunity you are seeking. Objective statements are a no in today's day and age, and especially in a modern resume. Why is that? Because ultimately, an employer doesn't really want to know what you are seeking or the type of opportunity that you are seeking. They want to know that you are a good fit for the open role that they are hiring for. So instead of an objective statement, you instead want to put a professional summary. Think of a professional summary as an elevator pitch. It's letting the employer know a little bit more about you, and more specifically, what value you can bring to the table, why your previous skills and qualifications position you for this opportunity, and why you would be a great fit for the role that they are hiring for. What experience, skills, and knowledge make you the best candidate for the role. The second resume mistake that I see very often is when candidates include references available upon request. Now, this is not necessary. If an employer needs your references, trust me, they will ask. And it's implied when you submit your resume that you will also be open to submitting references if the employer asks. So you don't need to include this on your resume. It's actually taking up unnecessary space, and it's showing that you are not as privy to modern resume techniques. So you want to avoid this. The third resume mistake I see is including hobbies and interests. You want your resume to be very streamlined and targeted toward a specific role. Although hobbies and interests are nice for the employer to get to know you better, they should not be included in a modern resume. You want your resume to be focused on your past work experience and specifically your accomplishments and what skills you are bringing to the table. Hobbies and interests are not essential to be included. You can keep your hobbies and your interests more for things like your LinkedIn profile, where you can show a bit more of your personality and the employers can get to know you a little bit better. But on your resume, they should not be included. And the fourth resume mistake that you want to avoid is including your full address on your resume. In this virtual hiring world, everything is turned virtual. You do not need to include your full address when you submit your resume online. Instead, you could just include your city, state, and zip code so that an employer knows where you are currently located. Also poses some security risks when you put your full address and you submit it in an online application. Rather stay safe and just include your city, state, and zip code. And so, to recap, the 4 resume mistakes that you want to avoid when submitting your next resume. Number 1 is an objective statement. Instead, replace this for a professional summary. Number 2 is references available upon request. Omit this from your resume. It is not needed. Feel free to submit any references to the potential employer when you are asked. Number 3 is including hobbies and interests. Not only does it take up unnecessary space on your resume, an employer does not need to see this in the resume. You can include it on things like your LinkedIn profile or personal social media. And last but not least is including your full address on your resume, which also is not needed. Simply put your city, state, and zip code when you submit your resume online. I hope that you found these tips useful. If you did, please give this a like. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more job seeker and career related tips. As always, I have a free download for you below this video. Click it so that you can download my Stand Up Candidate Toolkit, where I lay out my step-by-step strategy on how you can stand out as a job seeker in today's job market, ultimately land your dream job and accelerate to your next promotion. I also have a free training that you are exclusively invited to. Click the link below this video to attend the masterclass, and I will see you there. Bye for now.